Every Friday night, Julia's job is to compare the grocery prices of our neighborhood stores for Saturday morning shopping. There are 5 big neighborhood markets within a couple of blocks of our house, and Julia spreads her shopping around, going where the prices are lowest and the quality best.
Remember when a chocolate bar cost a quarter? When you could fill your car up for $5 and feed a family of 6 for $35 a week? Whatever happened to those days? Without anything tangible backing currencies, governments could borrow and print as much currency as it wanted. This has gradually led to the value of our currency being eroded.
With the creation of all this money, that dilutes the value of all of the dollars that were out there before, so that the purchasing power of the dollar gets crowded down, and we used to be able to buy a gallon of gas for 31 cents. Now it's hitting around $5.
The average guy in the street is affected by inflation because of the loss of purchasing power. And as a consequence, his standard of living is declining if he can't keep up with the inflation rate.
In many measures of a standard of living, Americans today are actually worse off. You can take my grandparents. My grandmother never worked, despite the fact that my grandfather was a carpenter. And they had 8 children. Could a carpenter, somebody without even a high school diploma, just working in a blue-collar job, support a wife and 8 kids today? Not a chance.
With inflation rising faster than incomes, people were forced into more and more drastic measures to maintain their standard of living.
With each new day, the work of a family begins again.
When we went off gold backing of the dollar, what used to happen prior to that is the husband went to work, the wife stayed at home, raised the family. Because of inflation in the 70s, the wife went to work. So now you had 2 incomes that were necessary to produce and buy the same goods and services. In the 90s, we stopped saving. The savings rate basically got down to 0 because people were spending. They couldn't save in order to buy the same goods and services. Then we got to the last decade. The wife was already working. The savings were down to 0. They borrowed money. And so we've gone from 2 earners getting rid of our savings rate to borrowing money to keep pace with inflation.
The average person is now forced to borrow well beyond their means, getting themselves deeply into debt. At first, this was to maintain a nice standard of living, but slowly, it has become necessary just to survive. By printing so much currency and devaluing it so heavily, it would seem that governments are essentially levying a hidden tax on their people.
Central banks try to say that 2% or 3% inflation is a good thing, and they make that a target. Well, it's still a tax. Why is 2% inflation or 3% inflation better for the country than no inflation? You'll be told, of course, that it's better than deflation, and you'll be told that people like to feel that their money or their jobs or their wages are going up by 2%, at least it's something. Well, in fact, that 2% is robbery, and what they get is going down by that amount.
Fiat money gives the power to government. Real money keeps the power with the people. Because when you have real money, government is limited. It can only spend what it taxes. And the public will resist taxation. But if the government can simply print and borrow, there's a lot less resistance. And so it's a lot easier for the government to grow when it can promise something for nothing. And so that's what they do. And so